Hi everyone, and welcome to Finish Your Plate. For Catholics, Fat Tuesday has been the day before Lent when you eat all kinds of heavy foods to prepare yourself for Lent. Now, Finns, of course, being Protestant, Christian being Lutheran, we don't really observe Lent at all. However, there's no reason why we cannot observe the fattening part. So that's why for Shrove Tuesday, for Laskiaispullat in Finnish, what we have are these buns that are sweet buns that are filled with almond paste or optionally maybe jam and whipped cream. So I'm going to be making those today. I have here about 500 grams of warm milk, 2 deciliters of plain sugar, about a teaspoon of salt, about a tablespoon of vanilla sugar, an egg, 200 grams of melted butter. This is about 2¼ teaspoons of instant bread machine yeast. Then I have here about 950 grams of flour. I may not use this all though, so the actual amount of flour that you're going to use will vary a little depending on what flours you use, and of course even your room temperature, room humidity. I'm using the King Arthur flour, and also I'm using 2 different kinds of cardamom, both from Penzeys. I have just ground up cardamom, very finely ground. But I also have here some cardamom seeds. So these are whole cardamom seeds from the cardamom pods. I'm just going to crack them a little bit so they'll be more like the cardamom seeds that you buy in the stores in Finland. I'll use about a teaspoon of the ground cardamom and a teaspoon of the cracked seeds. I'm going to put some of the flour in my bowl already. Mix in my yeast, my sugar, vanilla sugar, and salt. I'll also put in a teaspoon of cardamom and a cracked cardamom. Just going to give them a quick mix. I'm going to pour the milk in. And I'm just going to mix it all together. Now I'm going to start adding the flour a little bit at a time until the mixture is too thick, at which point I'm going to change to the mixer. Alright, so now that batter is too thick to mix by hand, I'm just going to change it to the mixer. Add more flour. Going to add more flour. So at this point, I have a little bit, maybe a cup, over a cup, maybe a cup and a half of flour left. I'm going to add the melted butter, and then I'm going to add the rest of the flour, minding the consistency. I may leave a little bit of it out. We'll see how it goes. You can actually see how the butter acts as a shortening. So it breaks up the strands of gluten into shorter pieces. That's how you get the short taste. And that's where the name comes from, shortening. And it looks like I do need the rest of the flour. So I'm just going to add it. Now the dough is pretty much ready. I'm just going to give it a couple quick kneads with my hands. See, now it's smooth and it separates easily from the surfaces or the bowl. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to knead it a little bit by hand, just give it a couple of kneads, and then put it in a greased bowl. Then I'm going to put it in a warm place to proof for about 45 minutes, an hour, until it's doubled in size. The dough has risen, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to split it into even pieces. Okay, so I just weighed my dough. I have about 1,800 grams here. If I make 90-gram buns, I think I can get about 20 out. Okay, so I will split this into 20 even-sized pieces. First, I'll just split it into roughly 2 halves, like so. And now I'll make 90-gram buns. So now that I split this half into about 90-gram portions, I'm going to form the buns. These are then going to go back in the warm for about an hour to rise, while I'm going to make the rest of the buns. So the buns have been rising in a warm place, covered for about an hour. I'm just going to quickly brush them with some melted butter and put some pearled sugar on top. Sometimes you see buns that have slivered almonds on them. So what that signifies is that they actually have an almond filling. But I don't have slivered almonds, so I'll just use some pearled sugar. These are ready. They're going to go in the 400-degree oven for about 7 to 10 minutes. The buns, they're out of the oven and they've cooled completely. So now I'm going to fill them. So there's 2 different fillings that are common. One is almond paste or almond filling. The other one is strawberry jam. So I'm going to make one of each. First, we're going to take this almond paste and make sort of a soft almond filling, which is very simple. I'm just taking some of this almond filling and then thinning it out with cream. The almond paste is very thick, so it'll take a little work to thin it out, but it'll get there. I'm actually just going to add just a drop of almond flavoring too. And now I'm just going to cut away the top I'm cutting away slightly higher than the center. This way I can actually scoop out a little bit of the filling, so we can get the filling to stay better inside. Just gonna fill that up. And I'm gonna do the same with the other one. Scoop out some of the filling. And add some of the strawberry jam. Now we're just going to pipe in some whipped cream. So I made whipped cream using confectioner's sugar. And the reason for that is because confectioner's sugar actually contains a little bit of cornstarch besides sugar. So what the cornstarch will do, it'll actually stabilize the whipped cream, so these will not fall apart quite so easily, and the whipped cream will not start to weep. And there we are. Finnish Shrove Tuesday buns. Laskiaispullat. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time on Finish Your Plate.